Gentlemen, good to see you both. Thanks so much for your time.
Nice to see you too, Petey.
You too, Petey. Thanks, man.
Absolutely. Felix, we'll start because I find it interesting because Jose, in my opinion, is one of the most intriguing characters in this series. And I feel like he has a job, you know what I mean? He's maybe he doesn't sometimes want to listen to the orders, but he has to do his job. But then there's kind of moments where he wants to not do his job and help people and do the right thing. Did it feel like a tug of war, a ping pong match with those elements with Jose when you were working on Sirens?
Yes and no. Less of a ping pong match and more of a recognition of the person that he was speaking to as being genuine. I think the moments that we see him be supportive, it's because he has recognized in the person who's asking for the support is genuine in it. And when you are being false or strategizing or calculating toward him, then he has to behave accordingly. And
it's all a bit Game of Thrones, isn't it?
Absolutely,
right. And you know your place in the kingdom, right?
You have to know your place.
You serve the king.
Absolutely,
ultimately.
You ultimately serve the king. And so for me, is yes, a ping pong match in that regard, but just into be specific about Jose, that it is who he is talking to determines how he talks to them. Yeah,
absolutely.
Yeah,
you did an incredible job with that character. By
That's
the way.
very kind of
Congratulations.
you. Thank you, brother. Appreciate that.
Glenn, good to see you. You are also fantastic in this roller coaster with this character because, you know, sometimes I like this character. Sometimes I was like, oh my goodness, you know what I mean? But when you work on a show like this that has so many elements in the script, like genre-wise, element-wise, that script-to-screen journey then really interests me, right? Because you read it on the script and then at some point you go to production and you see it come to life. So what was that like for you, Glenn, with Sirens specifically? Where sometimes you laugh, sometimes you freak out a little bit. Like, I'm just curious about that for you.
Well, I don't, you know, every actor's approach is different. My approach tends to be, I really spend most of my time, honestly, studying the entire thing. I feel like, you know, we both come from the theater, and so it's about approaching the piece as the most important thing. Right? My character is there to service a story. So my focus is initially, at least, on this whole story, and then having multiple conversations with Molly about, you know, to make sure that we're on the same page about what this is. And so then by the time all that is done, really my obligation is then just towards playing this character. Yeah. As long as Molly and I are on the same page about what piece this guy plays, then it's just going for that all the way. And then trusting that the people that you're working with, the directors, the showrunner, the editors, the music people, are all going to create that tone that you're speaking of, that really interesting tone. I would have played my instrument, and then the rest of the orchestra will play theirs, and you know, and I have to just trust that they'll do it well.
And then super quick for both of you, Felix, we'll start with this. I mean, you both have an incredible body of work playing different characters, different worlds. How separate are they compared to something like Sirens, like Felix and Glenn? We'll start Felix. Like, do you bring kind of preparations or mindset from past characters to something like this, or are they completely separate once you wrap them?
Oh, I try not to. I call it repeat offending. I try not to repeat offend. But what I will say is that I sit down with the script and I make sure that I have a reference for every single thing that I have to do in this show, in the play, in the screen, in the scene. If I don't have a reference for it, I'm not coming to work. So I will come to work always with a reference for what I need for the moment, for that scene. Mm-hmm. So that helps me individualize it and hopefully as an actor I continue to have an opportunity to play everything other than who I am, and yet I bring myself to everything that I'll play.
Yeah, I mean, that was what I was going to say. I mean, ultimately, the only thing that I think is the same, for me at least, is the fact that it's me doing it, right? So, you know, if you're a violin, you can't be asked to sound like a piano. It's just not going to happen, right? But you can play different notes, and you can pluck the strings or, you know, use the bow. Like, so for me, it's really like sometimes it's a subtle energy shift. I mean, like even just between my characters on It's Always Sunny and AP Bio, like for people who watch those shows, it would be easy to look at those characters and say, oh, that's like just the same guy. But like I can tell you all the reasons why it's not. And if you're paying close attention, they're absolutely not the same. They share characteristics. Yeah. So if you're sharing characteristics, you know, there's going to be some similarities there. But Yeah, I mean, I think really if you're paying attention again to the piece and what role you're playing within that piece, then your job is to shift into that energy and bring a different energy. And then sometimes with that comes a different accent or a different voice or different hair or whatever, but for me, it's more of an energy shift.
Definitely no Dennis, definitely no Navarro in this.
Yeah, exactly. Right.
Yeah, I'm glad you're saying that, brother. I'm glad you're saying that. That's a compliment to our ears.
It is, for sure.
Yeah, Petey.
You both are incredible storytellers. Congratulations. It was an honor and privilege to speak with both of you. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you for your time.
You as well. Thanks, Petey.
Thank you for tuning in to Popternative. Make sure to check out our past episodes of Popternative on YouTube.
This has been an Autograph Communications production.